Hello, everybody. Welcome to another riveting episode of Coffee with the Commodore. I am Commodore Skip. And once again, I must tell you, I'm not affiliated with any military organization. I have no military strategy. I always lost at Warhammer. It was really, really bad. I think I have like 2 wins in like 2 years of fantasy. So, yeah, not my game. Anyway, it is a icy, sleety, freezing rainy, little bit of snowy day here in North Kakalaki. And today I am drinking a breakfast brew this morning out of my grandmother's cup. And I think I've mentioned my grandmother's cup before. It's one of the last two that I have. My mom had it, and then now I have it. So it means a lot to me. And it kind of leads into what I'm thinking about talking about today. Um, with the snow and the ice and everything, I've been thinking, going back, thinking about the good old days. When I grew up in Danville, Virginia, uh, home of the National Tobacco and Textile Museum, by the way, in case you didn't know, they have like a model of the wreck of the old 97 there. It was pretty cool. I think I went there in like fourth grade, and I still remember it. And now they have a casino in Danville, which is an entirely different subject. But we used to get some pretty decent snowfalls to the point where it was keeping us out of school 2, 3 days at a time. So we always ended up at my grandmother's house. Um, she would have like drinks and hot cocoa, and we can dry our clothes in the dryer downstairs and in the basement. And it was wonderful. There's two memories that kind of stand out to me, uh, or two periods of time, I should say, that stand out to me. One is we played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons at my grandmother's house, and also my friend Chuck's house, and in the basement there. And we did that a lot on some of these ice days. It was myself, my best friend Chuck, uh, our friend Mike Curcio, and Richard Stokely. We called him Toad. And every now and then we would have Gabe and Will in there as well, and Muff, and have the whole kit and caboodle. But we always played, Dungeons and Dragons. It seems when we were kids, and I always remember that when it snows outside. Not to mention, I've been kind of catching up on Stranger Things. I watched it, up until the end of season 4 when it came out. But I had kind of forgotten some of the what was leading into it, so I haven't watched the new season yet. So I've been kind of binging that over the past week. Um, so that's kind of in my mind too, how they were playing Dungeons and Dragons in the basement. I'm not going to get started on some of the inconsistencies of their roles or the whole, grognard controversy of what rules they're using. And this ain't, I don't care about all that. It's the whole memory, it's the whole nostalgia thing that really has drawn me to it. I mean, it's a great show. I mean, there's some parts of it I'm like, but all in all, I think it was pretty well done. Now, again, I haven't seen the final season yet. I'll take care of that starting probably tonight in the next couple of days. I'm not here to get a TV review or anything, but it just kind of fits into how I'm feeling with nostalgia. But we had some really good campaigns. Had some really good campaigns. We used B2 a lot. Keep on the Borderlands. I don't know if you've ever played it. Some of you old folks probably have. Great, great starting adventure. You have everything you need. You have a keep with people who sell weapons and magics and a base of operations, and then you have the whole caves of chaos, where you can fight anything from a bunch of kobolds to a bunch of goblins to an ogre is there. I think a minotaur is there, if I remember correctly. I remember somebody sleeping in a big fur covered bed. I think that's the ogre. But you could get like tons of like weapons and stuff like that, 50 spears or some insane amount like that. But back when you were kids, your horse kind of looked like this. It has a little hump in it because of all the equipment that you had found on all these adventures. Um, But we had some good times there. That's back when things were fresh. You didn't know, what a displacer piece did, or, you can't quote the stats of a goblin or anything like that. It was all fresh and all new, and it was so much fun. And we even got to a point where I think we had decided that, or somebody had taken over the keep on the Borderlands, and we were either trying to defend it or trying to storm it. I don't know. Maybe we were protecting it from like the creatures from the caves of chaos, but still, a lot of fun was just having in that one little small adventure that came with the basic set. And this was just the beginning. I don't even think we had at that time. I don't even think we had the hardback books for first edition. I think we were just using um, the version of the one with the blue, with a dragon on it. It was blue. I can't end it with the white lettering. I never can remember who wrote that. The editions. It doesn't really matter in this case, but still. But just something like that. It's just the whole feel good nostalgia. Back when things were so not as chaotic as they are today. You really didn't worry about it except for, can you get, something to eat, stay warm, and just roll some dice and just have fun. Um, Along with that, the other memory I have when it snows and ice like that, being back home in Danville, is being in my grandmother's kitchen playing Dark Tower, the original Dark Tower. You remember that? The remake or the redo, whatever they call it, is awesome. I mean, it's complex. It's great. I like the whole app thing. But there's just something about that old game where you had to punch in the thing in the tower itself. Um, it was just so wonderful. We would just sit around my grandmother's kitchen table, um, after we played in the snow for a while, and we just spent hours doing that. Hours. So I, I I just think that the older you get, at least for me, I've been at this for quite some time, since '78, something like that. Um, when you start to think about where you came from and how long you've been doing this, and how even today, even today, excuse me, it's still magical. It's not as magical. Well, I should let me rephrase that. It's a different kind of thing. You know, Back then it was all new. It was sparkly. It was, oh my gosh, we found a dragon treasure trove, with all these coins and a +1 sword, +4 versus gas spores, and which is, by the way, my favorite magical weapon of like all time. I just love it because gas spores have like one hit point and you really don't want to hit them anyway. So why do you need a +4 sword against them? It's hilarious and I love it. And if I ever, run a D&D game, it's going to be in there. It's going to be because that's just so cool. Um, but just that feeling, it's just everything was so brand new. And um, I keep using the word magical because it was, Um, Nowadays, it still is because there's a different feel to it because you're actually back then we liked our characters, but we wanted them, to carry the Sun Sword or Excalibur or whatever. Um, Now it's completely different. Now you want to just keep a character alive. You want to explore their history. You want to, if their daughter was kidnapped, or that they're on a quest for vengeance or whatever. It's a completely different vibe than it was back then. But there's just something to be said about just sitting down and thinking about it, looking outside as the ice falls and the ground becomes white, and you're kind of stuck. Just going back to those times where you didn't care. You just had the dice in front of you. You had your character sheet that's has all those erase marks from the hit points that you're taking, and the levels going up, and if you got drained by an undead, and it's just something about that. I've always tied that to snowy days. I always have, and it just makes me smile. It kind of gets me through it. Um, and I really miss playing that old Dark Tower too. I really need to see. I'm sure it's probably pricey on eBay or anything like that, but I've got a copy of the new one. Um, but I don't have a copy of the old one. I would love to find a working copy. I'm sure I would have to sell both kidneys and six houses to actually afford it. Uh, but that would be nice to have, just to play once or twice. It'd be good to get the old gang back together too. I know Chuck watches. I don't think any of the others know I still exist, but anyway. So that's where my mind is today. I hadn't done an update in a while. Things have just been going crazy, as life tends to be, especially in this day and age. I'm not going to get into all that either. Um, so I just wanted to touch base with my loyal maniacs out there and let you know I'm still alive, still kicking. Got Chaosium Con coming up. I'm very excited about that. I'm actually going to run my first con game. I'm actually running the 7th C, so I'm a little nervous. I've got to go back and reread the rules. I probably will get them all, not all of them correct, but we'll have fun. It's only like 3 hours, so um, I'm looking forward to for doing that. Got some stuff coming up on podcasts um, that have already been recorded, and some that I'm getting ready to record. So that'll be fun. So 2026 is going to be full of some games. But I still, part of me would just love to go back and have a camera and just, record some of those old D&D sessions. They would never air. It was kids being kids. Um, but it sure would be nice to at least hear it and just laugh again and just go back into that magical time that, the world didn't matter, you know. As long as you had your snacks and your warmth and your dice, everything was pretty good then. So anyway, kind of a short update today. I hope if you are affected when you watch this recently, everybody is safe from any of the ice and snow in that area. If you're getting it, please be safe. I'm not going anywhere. I haven't moved in a couple of days, so. Uh, but if not, if you're looking at it later on down the road, yeah, they were calling for like 22 inches of snow, and we ended up just getting some ice. So it is what it is. But anyway, once again, this has been Coffee with the Commodore. I miss you, Grandma. And remember to smile. You never know whose day you might brighten. And we'll catch you back here on the next show. Have a great one, everybody. Take care. Be safe. Bye bye.